$50 million is already yours. The only thing standing in the way is your thinking. Burn that into your mind. Hold it like fire in your chest. You are not chasing 50 million. You are aligning with it. The money exists right now in this moment. It's moving, circulating, multiplying. And it's searching not for someone lucky, but for someone ready. You must understand this. Money is not earned in the physical world first. It is earned in the mind. Every fortune began as a thought. Every dollar that ever came into a man's hands first lived in his imagination. The only difference between those who hold millions and those who scrape for pennies is this. One group believes the money is already theirs, and the other waits for permission to receive it. There is no magic, no secret, no gatekeeper. There is only belief and the will to act on that belief with unshakable faith. You cannot afford to think like a person who is trying to get rich. That mindset is rooted in lack. It says, I do not have. And what you affirm, you attract. If you constantly declare to yourself that you are chasing, hoping, struggling, you will only create more chasing, more hoping, more struggle. But the moment you affirm, it is already mine, the entire current of your life begins to shift. The moment you claim the 50 million is yours, you start to move differently, think differently, operate at a frequency that aligns with wealth, power, and abundance. You must walk through this world with the mental attitude of possession. You must speak with authority, move with conviction, and think with the certainty of someone who knows that their fortune is not coming, it has arrived. This is not delusion, this is creation. You are not lying to yourself, you are commanding reality to conform to your vision. Understand this truth. Money flows to those who expect it, and not in a passive, wishful way, but in a dominant, forceful, relentless way. You must expect money like the sun expects to rise, no doubt, no hesitation, no weakness. You must see yourself as already in possession of the wealth you seek. Your thoughts must be filled with the end result. You must see the bank account already full, the investments, impact already real. If you live every day waiting for evidence before you believe, you will remain stuck. But if you choose to believe first with total certainty, the evidence will come, the people will appear, the ideas will arrive, the deals will land, because you are no longer chasing money, you are attracting it. You are no longer hoping for wealth, you are assuming its presence. That is the mental transformation that turns ordinary men into financial giants. So hold the thought, keep it fixed, burn it in your heart like a brand. The money is here, the wealth is yours. Now act like it, think like it, speak like it, and watch the world respond. You must think from the end. That is the key. That is the turning point. That is the mental leap that separates the wealthy from the wishful. Most people live in reaction. They think from where they are, from their bank account, from their limitations, from the noise around them. And that's why they stay stuck. Because you cannot create a new reality while thinking from the old one. You cannot manifest $50 million by thinking like someone who doesn't have it. You must think from the place where the money is already yours. Begin right now to hold the image of yourself as already wealthy. Not tomorrow, not when circumstances change, now. You must see yourself already in possession of the fortune you desire. You must ask yourself daily, hourly, minute by minute, how does a person who has $50 million think? How do they walk? How do they speak? How do they approach decisions, challenges, setbacks? And then you must begin to live from that version of yourself immediately. Not when it's convenient, not when it feels safe, now. This is not pretending, this is power. This is not make-believe, this is mental discipline. You are training your mind to live in the reality you intend to create. That mental posture is what summons the people, the resources, the ideas, and the energy that brings your vision into form. Most people never achieve this because they're addicted to what they see. They are hypnotized by the present. But the masters of wealth are not bound by the visible. They think past it, they think through it, they think from the end. If you knew without a shadow of a doubt that $50 million was already yours, how would you carry yourself today? Would you second guess yourself? Would you apologize for your ambition? Would you shrink to make others comfortable? No, you would speak boldly. You would take risks. You would invest with confidence. You would walk into every room like you belong because you do. That is the mindset that bends reality. You do not need to know how it will happen. That is not your job. Your job is to hold the end firmly in your mind and act from it with total belief. When the mind accepts something is already real, the body follows, the actions align, the vibration changes, and suddenly what once seemed impossible becomes inevitable. The world around you, you must live from your vision, not your current view. You must override the voices of doubt and limitation with the sound of certainty. Your inner conversation must declare, "It is done, it is mine, I am already that person," and then live as if the outer world has no choice but to catch up. Because it doesn't. It must. That's how this works. Think from the end, and your life will rise to meet the picture you hold. Not someday, not maybe, but now. Because reality obeys the mind that refuses to think like a beggar when it was born to command like a king. Thought is the origin of wealth. Every dollar that has ever been made, every empire ever built, every fortune ever claimed, began first in the invisible realm of thought. Before a man ever held money in his hands, he held it in his mind. Before any result appears in the physical world, it must be birthed in the mind with clarity, intensity, and belief. This is the law, this is the truth, and until you accept it, wealth will elude you, no matter how hard you work. You can labor day and night, chase opportunity after opportunity, hustle until your bones ache. But if your thoughts are poisoned with doubt, limitation, fear, or lack, you will sabotage every breakthrough before it has a chance to bloom. You must understand, money is not attracted to effort alone. Money is drawn to thought-focused, intentional, dominant thought. Wealth flows to the individual whose mind is locked onto prosperity like a heat-seeking missile, not occasionally, not when it's convenient, but relentlessly, habitually, constantly. The poor man thinks in problems. The rich man thinks in pictures. He sees what he wants, he feels what he wants, he believes in what he wants. Before a single outward sign ever shows up. That's the power of thought. It is the blueprint, it is the seed, it is the first cause of all results. Your mind is the factory where riches are assembled. The thoughts you allow, the images you entertain, the beliefs you accept, these are the raw materials that shape your financial destiny. You must stop thinking about money and start thinking from wealth. There's a difference. One keeps you always reaching, always hoping, always needing. The other puts you in the driver's seat. You are no longer a beggar waiting for life to hand you something. You become a creator, a commander of circumstances, and it all begins with your thought. If you think poverty, you will live in poverty. If you think fear, you will attract fear. If you think lack, you will see lack everywhere you look. But if you think abundance, if you think like a person who already has $50 million in motion, you will begin to notice new opportunities, new ideas, new connections that were invisible to the old version of you. Because wealth was never far away. It was never out of reach. It was only out of focus. You must train your mind to think thoughts that serve your vision. Guard it like gold. Feed it only what reinforces your belief in prosperity. Speak to yourself with power. See yourself as powerful. Because the outer world reflects the dominant picture you hold inside. Not the picture you visit once a day. Not the picture you wish were true. But the one you accept without resistance. Every thought is a seed. And every seed produces after its kind. Think wealth, and wealth must come. Think success, and success must respond. It is law. It is truth. And once you take control of your thinking, you take control of your future. You must claim it with certainty, not with hesitation, not with half-belief, not with one foot in and one foot out. Wealth does not respond to the timid, the doubtful, or the unsure. It responds to the man or woman who stands boldly, looks life in the face and says, "It is already mine." That is the mental posture required to command riches. Not to wish for them, not to chase them. The universe responds to certainty, not need, not desperation, not good intentions, certainty. When you speak a thing with conviction, when you believe it without flinching, when your inner voice echoes with absolute knowing, then you become magnetic. You become a force that wealth cannot ignore. You draw opportunities, ideas, people, and circumstances to you with such speed that others call it luck. But it is not luck, it is law. Most people never receive the abundance they desire because they never claim it. They wait for permission. They wait for signs. They wait for validation from others. And in that waiting, they signal to life that they are not ready. The truth is, your life will not rise higher than your belief. If your belief is weak, your results will be weak. If your belief is conditional, your success will be conditional. But if your belief is absolute, unshakable, non-negotiable, then you unlock power that cannot be denied. This is where most fail. They hope for success, but they don't claim it. They wish for wealth, but they don't walk like it's already theirs. Your entire posture must reflect the reality you've chosen. Your speech must be filled with the energy of completion. Your decisions must be rooted in the confidence of ownership. You do not say, I want. You say it is done. You do not ask for evidence. You create the evidence with your mindset and your movement. Certainty is not arrogance. Certainty is alignment. It is stepping into the frequency where wealth already exists and refusing to leave it. It is thinking, speaking, and acting as if your vision is not just possible, it is inevitable. When your inner world is fully aligned with the result, the outer world cannot resist. It bends, it shifts, it obeys. Say it now. It is mine. Not someday, not if everything goes right, now. This moment, this breath, this beat of your heart. Because once you claim something with total certainty, every cell in your body begins to vibrate at a new frequency. You stand differently, you move faster, you speak clearer, and the world takes notice. Doubt is the enemy. Kill it, starve it, silence it, replace it with certainty. Let every word that leaves your mouth be stamped with the seal of belief. Let your thoughts be so strong, so loud, so unshakable that nothing can pull you off course. Because when you decide that the money is already yours, the game changes. You stop playing small, you stop shrinking, and you start to dominate. That's the power of claiming your destiny without apology, without question, and without delay. You must saturate your mind with the belief. Not visit it once in the morning and forget it by noon. Not speak it once and let doubt creep in 5 minutes later. If you are serious about wealth, if you are truly determined to manifest $50 million, you must immerse your mind in that belief until it becomes your only reality. You must soak your thoughts, your emotions, your imagination in the certainty that the money is already yours. Nothing less will do. You become what you dwell upon. You attract what you obsess over. Not with fear, not with anxiety, but with faith so solid that nothing can shake it. Most people fail not because they lack talent or resources, but because they do not hold the image of success long enough. They touch the thought, then drop it. They get inspired, then distracted. But those who rise, those who dominate, those who build empires, they fix their mind like a laser beam on the outcome, and they refuse to let go. The mind must be trained. It must be conditioned. It must be rewired daily, not weekly, not occasionally, daily. You must guard your mental environment like you would guard a vault of gold. You cannot let the voices of doubt, fear, failure, and limitation find one crack, not one moment of entry. Every word you hear, every conversation you entertain, every piece of content you consume must feed your belief, not fracture it. Tell yourself over and over and over again that the wealth is already yours. Say it until it sounds ridiculous. Say it until it becomes natural. Say it until your subconscious has no choice but to accept it as reality. Repetition is the language of the mind. What you repeat, you reinforce. What you reinforce, you believe. And what you believe, you create. Wake up with it on your lips. Fall asleep with it in your heart. Let the vision of your fortune play in your mind like a loop, unending and unstoppable. Let your inner conversation be one of power, not poverty. Fill your environment with symbols of wealth, words of wealth, energy of wealth. Because your outer world will always rise to meet your inner world, but only if the inner world is saturated with belief. You cannot flirt with your vision, you must marry it. You must become one with the thought of prosperity. You must let it possess you, drive you, inspire you. Every decision must be made through the lens of that belief. Every setback must be filtered through the certainty that your result is already secure. The belief must be louder than the noise. It must be stronger than the fear. It must be deeper than the doubt. This is how you program your mind for success. Not by chance, not by emotion, by discipline, by ruthless repetition, by total immersion in the thought that you are already wealthy, already powerful, already living in the reality you've chosen. Hold it, feed it, defend it, and soon the world will mirror it. You must ignore the how. Banish it from your mind. The how is not your concern. The how is the trap. The how is the thief of dreams. Every time you ask, how will it happen? You declare that you do not believe it will happen. You plant doubt. You question the process. And when doubt enters the mind, creation stops. The mind becomes divided. And a divided mind cannot build wealth, cannot hold power, cannot manifest $50 million. The truth is simple. Your job is not to engineer the way. Your job is to hold the vision with such unwavering intensity that life itself bends to deliver it. That is your responsibility. That is your only task. When you focus on the end with complete faith, the means reveal themselves. The people appear. The circumstances shift. The doors open. But only after you commit fully, without demanding to see the route first. This is where the average thinker fails. They want step 1, 2, 3, and 4 before they believe. But that is not how wealth is created. The creators, the movers, the builders, they decide first. They declare it is done, and then they move in faith. Not blind faith, bold faith, unshakable, fierce, commanding faith. They walk forward even when the path is hidden. They act as if the resources, the ideas, the guidance are already waiting for them because they are. You must stop waiting for all the answers before you begin. That is delay disguised as wisdom. You do not need a perfect plan. You need a perfect belief. When the mind is fixed on the goal with emotional intensity, the universe has no choice but to align with it. The how will come. It always does. But not to the one who doubts. Only to the one who trusts. Understand this. You are not manifesting from logic. You are manifesting from power. You are not building a business plan. You are building a mental picture. That picture, once complete and held with conviction, becomes magnetic. And what it needs to become real will be drawn to it like steel to a magnet. That is law. That is truth. And it cannot be broken. Do not insult your vision by questioning how it will happen. That is like planting a seed and then digging it up every day to check if it's growing. Your job is to water it with belief, feed it with emotion, protect it with discipline, act in alignment with it, and walk as if it's already done. Let others worry about the how. Let the small minds debate the steps. You are not here to play small. You are here to command the unseen. You are here to act as a force of creation. Speak the end, feel the end, see the end, live from the end, and the how will come, always and without fail. You must act as if it's already yours. This is the golden key. This is the bridge between thought and reality. Anyone can dream, anyone can wish, but only the few who act from belief ever claim the prize. If you want to manifest wealth, real, undeniable, unstoppable wealth, you must stop acting like a person waiting for money and start behaving like someone who already possesses it. You must walk, talk, think, and move like the money is in your hands, in your account, in your world right now. This is not fantasy. This is not pretense. This is the law of embodiment. When your actions reflect your belief, the world conforms. Too many speak of wealth but live like beggars. Too many visualize riches but act from scarcity. That contradiction kills results. The subconscious mind does not respond to what you say, it responds to what you do. If your actions scream poverty, your results will match. If your habits whisper doubt, your outcomes will crumble. But if every step you take echoes the certainty of wealth, the doors will swing open. You must carry yourself with the confidence of success before the success shows up. That is the test. That is the secret. That is the unspoken law that separates the ordinary from the exceptional. You cannot wait until the evidence appears. You must become the evidence. You must speak with authority. You must move with clarity. You must invest like a visionary, even if the world doesn't yet see what you see. Because the world responds not to your needs, it responds to your certainty. Ask yourself, how does a person with $50 million think? How do they make decisions? Do they doubt themselves? Do they second guess every move? Do they shrink in front of challenges? No. They lead. They command. They decide swiftly. And if you desire to claim that same level of wealth, you must become that person in action before the results arrive. That is the prize. That is the power. That is the way. Your posture matters. Your presence matters. Your movement matters. Every day you are either affirming your vision or denying it by the way you carry yourself. When you walk into a room, do so as someone who already owns the outcome. When you speak about your goals, speak as if they are complete. When you take action, do it with the boldness of one who cannot fail. Because in truth, failure does not exist for the one who acts from belief. You must no longer wait for proof. You are the proof. You must no longer wait for validation. You are the authority. When you live as if, you summon the reality. You draw it near. You activate the law, and every part of your life begins to shift. Not because the world changed, but because you changed. Your energy changed. Your belief changed. Your behavior changed. And the world could do nothing but respond in kind. Now is the moment you stop waiting and start claiming. Not tomorrow, not when it's convenient. Now, burn this into your mind. The wealth is already yours. The power is already in you. The path will reveal itself the second you decide with full conviction that there is no other outcome. No more doubt, no more hesitation. No more playing small. Stand up, claim your fortune, and move with the fire of one who knows, not hopes, not wishes, knows that $50 million is not a fantasy, it is a certainty. The world belongs to those who believe without question and act without fear. Be that person and watch what happens.